Now we'll get on to Advance Medical Directives. This is an opportunity for you to decide who you'd like to make healthcare decisions on your behalf in the event that you're not capable of making your own decisions. So obviously if a doctor comes to you and says, Shirley, what do you want to do? How do you feel about your leg? Do you want to have another surgery? Are you getting any better? How do you feel? Are you capable? Are you up to having another surgery? And you're going to say, yes, I'm up to it, or no, I'm not up to it. But if in the event you become legally incompetent, so you're not able to make your own decisions, they're going to turn to your person or persons that you've chosen in your documents to make healthcare decisions on your behalf. Under these circumstances, I get the whole gamut of individuals who either don't ever want another surgery, they've already been through 4 quadruple bypasses, and they don't ever want to be cut open again, just let me go. And they say that in their healthcare directives, and we spell all that out so that the doctor has to abide by it. But we also get the people who think they're going to live forever and think that they want to be bionic, and they're going to have every operation under the sun because science has just increased leaps and bounds. And I'm not here to determine what's the right choice and what's the wrong choice. I'm here to help them put their wishes into legally binding paper. But at the end of the day, we can decide, 1, who's going to have that ability to carry out your wishes, and 2, what are the guidelines for your wishes? Because no one knows exactly what their circumstances are going to be when the time comes and these decisions need to be made. So you do want to keep it a little bit broad in allowing your agent to make decisions and say, okay, enough is enough. The doctor said, the Grant has a 5% chance of ever recovering. She probably will have no quality of life even if she does recover. She had always told me that if the doctor said anything like this, just let her go. Doctor, thank you very much. I really appreciate your expert opinion. I'm taking under advisement, and I know my grandmother, and she had told me she wants to go now. Okay, not an easy decision for someone to make, but you as the individual who is drafting that document has the ability to name who you think is the strong person, the one who will step up and make the decision that you would have liked to be made on your behalf. And that doesn't mean necessarily keep you alive longer, fight for you in that regard. Sometimes it's really just carry out my wishes. You're really looking for a soldier. You're looking for someone who's going to take the direction and follow it. And even if they don't agree with it, they're going to follow it. So that's really, in my opinion, what a healthcare directive is all about. You're not looking for, a person doesn't have to be a doctor themselves. They don't have to have any medical expertise. They need to know you, and they need to be able to follow directions, and they need to be able to live with the decision that they've made. So you don't want someone who's overly sensitive and is going to feel like the blood is on their hands if they've told the doctor to pull the plug. They really need to understand that they're just carrying out your wishes, because it's not an easy decision. It's a thankless job. Some of you may have already experienced it. It's not an easy thing to do. So, also, with healthcare directives and powers of attorney, I'll go back on this because I did touch on this with the last will and testament. So important, particularly with the power of attorney, that it's executed appropriately, that the formality requirements that the state requires are followed. So, with a power of attorney, you're required to have 2 witnesses and a notary, which that's a little different because the will only requires 2 witnesses. The healthcare directive is similar to the will in the regard that you don't actually need a notary present to execute a valid healthcare directive. You just need 2 witnesses who are competent over the age of 18. Not a high bar to get over, but it's important that the witnesses actually see you sign the documents and that no one's pressuring you to sign it in a way that puts them in charge of anything that you wouldn't have otherwise wanted to be done. Sometimes this can be tricky because I get individuals, particularly older individuals, who want to bring their children along to the meetings, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But it needs to be very clear that the attorney-client relationship is with the individual who's drafting the documents. And while the individual who's drafting the documents might turn to their child and say, what do you think about that? That's perfectly fine. At the end of the day, the person I'm answering to is the individual who's hired me to draft their documents. And I don't want to feel like the son or daughter who's come to the room, or whoever it is putting pressure on you that I can tell you're not comfortable with, but you don't want to disappoint them. That's not the right way to go about doing this. So, always happy to have those conversations and talk to individuals alone. Always happy to bring in a trusted person to come in and help you with your stuff. But it is got to be careful that no one's feeling pressured to do something they might not otherwise do, especially if it's clear that it's not in their best interest.